Oh,
Wait, can you guys hear him? I can't hear him. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you. I'm messing. Like old times. Like old times. Okay. Well, chat, we want to hear from you guys. Give us your score on the direct, and be thinking about your favorite parts. Crawler, what'd you think?
hit and miss, I would say, in different spots. I mean, a lot of remasters to be expected, I guess. We saw a lot of whatever said remaster, remake, or I don't know what was some of the other. It was mainly just remaster, remake, I guess, that we saw. But the Dragon Quest 1 or 2, I guess, are they teasing something new with that character? I don't know enough about
It looked
Dragon
like
Quest.
potentially like maybe some new story elements or something with a new character. Is kind of what they is kind of what it looked like there.
Yeah,
This,
I have
was-
3. I haven't sat down and played it, but I have 3. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised we didn't get dates for a lot of things. Is that just a play to wait until next week? I don't understand why we don't have dates on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Or is that still GTA gun shyness from everybody?
I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe it is. It's all about GTA, and that's why Cryptic put it good right here. He's like, all this is just a bonus. I can't be mad, but it felt like an indie showcase, like seeing some Metro Prime 4 and then Virtual Card is neat, but the primary account user for sharing games is better in my opinion. And
is that going away? Do we know if that's for sure?
That, I mean, that's kind of it's the impression I get, which that's going to be a little bit, well, I guess if you can access them both from your, like if I have the Switch Lite up by the bed and then I can just access the digital cards that way. But
yeah, because if that's the case, then I would still leave like my kid's Switch as the primary Switch. I would be a secondary Switch, and then eventually they'll get like my OLED right now when I get a Switch 2. So that can be another Switch. To make that the primary Switch, the old Switch becomes a secondary Switch that somebody's not normally playing on or something like that. And then because then if I go out of town or whatever, because whenever I leave town, if I take my Switch with me, I make my new Switch or my current Switch my primary Switch. So then that screws up any digital games that they are playing here. They have to rely on the cards or whatever.
Right.
If I want to not have to worry about that kind of stuff. But yeah, if it can leave both, kind of, that would be nice. But the fact that you can lend it to any family member, that they finally realized that households have multiple Switches and parents don't want to have to buy multiple versions of either a game card or share, like do the whole juggling of primary Switches around.
Yeah, that aspect will be nice. I know, like for me though, not being close to my not being local with like my daughters, that means it won't really.
Is that the vibe we got? You have to be local.
That's
every
what it
time?
said. That's
Okay.
what it said. Yeah. Well, they made it sound like you have to be at least for the first time, but then so it sounds like you could possibly have 2 Switches that could use the one library, but then anything in the family account, but then they can only have them for 2 days or for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
The thing that was strange is there was a, like, I wanted to kind of pause on it and see, because it said something about the game file. I'm just kind of scrubbing the video right now. It said something about the game file. Here we go. It's right at this point. Okay, save data will not be erased when returning the virtual card. So that's good. That's good that like
They don't know our pain of the video games rental when you had to go try to go get it again with your save file.
Exactly. So so Matt says no Zelda, no Silk Song, no NSO updates. Metroid suit was your highlight. Yeah. No, the Metroid, like Samus's new suit was
That would have been better served to
super
be at the
sick.
very end. Don't you think? Like the end just fell flat.
Well, it's one of those scenarios like, yeah, Tamagotchi life is not for like you or me, but there is a huge like if I could tell you the amount of times my daughters would bring their DSs to me when they were little and be like, look at how weird this is and how funny this is. And like, I would literally just hear them giggling in their room playing this game. So it is it not being for us. Yes. But there is a huge community of people that are very excited for that game. And I mean, the amount of tweets, and I even put it in my, I did a little, I shared on my stories yesterday for the predictions that I did. I put Tamagotchi Life on there just because there's a lot. Like when I text them this morning and tell them a new game is coming out, they're gonna lose their minds.
So
like,
is that AI voice or what is the creepy voice in that game?
Yes.
It's just AI voice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole. It's as weird as Nintendo gets, honestly. Like you create you build all these Miis, and then you basically watch them live out their lives. And some of them get married, and they do stand up. And
was that a DS thing?
It was a 3DS game. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think like just kind of going through. Tom says, pretty good for a direct we didn't know about until a couple of days ago. Cryptic says also Wind Waker and Twilight Princess is in Silk Song territory now. Like, I think that's I would have bet anything that Silk Song was going to be announced today. Like it was going to be out today.
I was waiting on Prime 2 and 3 to be of out now kind of thing, just like they did, what was that, 2 years ago now for Prime? How long has that been?
Yeah,
do an out now and then physical release in mid-June or something like that, or May. But when it would just transfer to something new after the Metroid Prime 4, I'm like, wow, they're totally missing an opportunity.
It's a bummer for sure, because I played some of 2. And then kind of I hit a point where I saved with not enough health and this boss just ruined me. I couldn't, and I was like, I got frustrated at that point, didn't go back. And then 3, I didn't want to play because of the controls. And so like Nate says, we're not getting 2 and 3. That's kind of where I'm at now too. I'll be surprised if we do.
Did they fix controls for 3 in the trilogy or no?
No, they're all Wii controls.
Okay.
That's
why I didn't. On Wii. Is that a Wii or Wii U game?
It's a Wii game. Yeah, okay. And that's why I didn't that's why I didn't play 3, because I was like, I'm not playing with the Wii remote and the nunchuck. So looks like I'll have no choice now. Taking a look here.
It's just weird. I don't know.
Cryptic said Tamagotchi Life is just like a Xenoblade 3 ending a direct. It's for those hardcore set of fans. Yeah. Yeah. Cryptic said forgot about everybody's golf is but everybody's golf is a big deal. The studio shut down when it was with PlayStation. So curious if the Switch exclusive, but people go back and forth on if Mario Golf is better or Hot Shots, right?
Just from that trailer, I'm going to tell you Hot Shots looks a whole lot better.
I like the traditional, like hit the button 3 times to get your swing. Like I miss that with Super Rush, that's for sure.
Well, and that's left even PGA like style golf. They've gone, well, they have multiple control styles now for a lot of stuff, where you can do the swing stick, or you can do traditional 3 button, or who knows. But we're seeing this Atlas game right now, which seems, I mean, I guess this is a remaster though too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah.
So this must be like PS2 era or something.
It kind of looks like it. And I mean, I think there's going to be, I think there's going to be plenty of people that like, have some like nostalgia for this. Will be excited to jump back into it. I think Atlas has a pretty big, like, I think they have a pretty big fan base, honestly.
Hmm.
So, but it's one of those scenarios like, there's certain games if you don't have any nostalgia for them, going back to them can kind of, trying them for the first time when they're depending on the remaster, right? Like going back into, because I love the look of like the Dragon Quest HD 2D, that kind of stuff. I would gladly jump in. I think one of the biggest surprises right here is this Pac-Man game that we're seeing on the screen
they
right
had
now.
they had shown this in a previous direct,
Correct, yeah.
but not as like we got more it's like side scroll 2D Metroidvania kind of gameplay this time. But yeah, it looks, I mean, they're leaning into the Pac-Man stuff, which is pretty cool.
It's so bizarre, but then to see him like transform, the biggest like complaint for me is I'm just not a huge fan of this art style. It's the like Steam World style art style that I don't care for the way things animate like this. It almost looks like those, like where you could get a doll out of one of those books and then you like put it together with the little like clips and stuff. Like I've just never been a huge fan of of this kind of art. But besides that, the gameplay does look really, really cool. Like that Metroidvania meets Pac-Man is just kind of very, very, very interesting and very left field.
And so that is a Switch, PS5, and Steam exclusive, which seems like I'm surprised when stuff doesn't end up on everything if it's coming to multiple. But
because it's not going to Xbox.
It's what it said. I'm on their website right now too. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I just kind of wonder if it feels like more and more Microsoft is like I'm wondering if like kind of like PC is going to end up where the majority of Microsoft games get their.
Well, that's the rumor, right? Because the next
so.
Xbox is going to be able to play Steam. So if you can get it on Steam, you can get it on Xbox. So
yeah,
they just got to come up with a good profit share with Steam, and they can probably forego their whole economy if they wanted to.
I see a handful of people are taking off for work and stuff. You guys take it easy. Thank you so much for hanging out. Tom says, where was the Master Chief Collection? I hope they release it as buggy as it was on Xbox One when it first came out. Oh, no. Oh man, that was so.
Prime 4 was putting out some Halo vibes though, with that bridge and stuff, like in the crash spaceship. Like it looked, I was like, maybe this could be that, but and then it shifted. But it's putting out vibes, and we got Bungie vibes from the first trailer with Metroid Prime 4, with kind of like opening cinematic of like Destiny or whatever, with like stuff falling out of the sky and you're just on a path walking towards whatever base that was. So they're leaning into kind of some Bungie DNA with Metroid Prime 4.
Nate says, I love that Marvel's partnering with Nintendo still. Yeah, we talked about it last night, hoping that like that was going to be Ultimate Alliance 4, like that we were going to see. But I think they'll probably wait as Doomsday gets closer, and like hopefully the MCU kind of starts to get back in people's good graces a little bit more, and like then we could see because they could follow the Doomsday storyline for Ultimate Alliance 4, just like they did with the Avengers Infinity, Gauntlet and all that stuff with the third game. So this is interesting. Doug T says Hot Shots Golf was my go-to on my lunch break all summer, I think. I love that. Tom says playing through Prime Remastered kind of burst my nostalgic bubble about it. The game is a lot slower than I remembered, and it was kind of a slog to finish. Interesting. I've probably put 2 hours into it, but I'll be completely honest, I loved every minute of those 2 hours. I have been playing with the those Corsair Virtuoso Max headphones, and oof, it is like the noise canceling, and then I just lose myself in Prime. I was like, or Prime Remastered. I was like, this is amazing. So, and I was like turning the lights down in the op, like I was setting the mood for when I was playing Prime, and I really had a good time with it. But like I said, I've only been about 2 hours in, so. Cryptic says I do like
kind of
beat 'em
bummed to
ups.
see scanning as much, like they like leaned into it a little bit.
I mean, the scanning bothered me far less than the controls in the first game when it first came out. Like that was the thing that was so hard. You couldn't control it like Halo or a regular shooter. You basically controlled everything with the stick and then had to hold the left trigger to aim. And that just seemed, it made her feel, it was, you know how like the original idea for lightsabers is that they were big and heavy and everybody had to move slow when they that's kind of like for this character that's supposed to be kind of elegant and just kind of glide through the air and everything. It was like, why'd we make her so clunky? At least she's looking like she's moving pretty smooth right now. So I still just, my biggest worry with 4 Beyond is that it's gonna seem like a dated shooter when it comes out. Like, and so it's like, are they leaning into, is it going to be more like a boomer shooter? Like, should we expect more of a Doom-esque play style than like a Halo Infinite, where it was like, that felt very modern and like.
Well, yeah, what do you think of this control the beams to like take out everybody with one shot kind of thing?
I actually think that could be pretty cool. Like, I think there's, that reminds me of almost like some like Destiny kind of stuff in a way.
And we're
like,
in bullet time, it looks like, kind of ish.
Yeah. So I think that's cool. What about her being like a Jedi? Like that's
you don't need to see our identification.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's kind of one off to this planet kind of deal, so that's fine. Whatever.
I do think it looks, from everything they're showing, I think it looks gorgeous. I want to kind of deep dive the trailer a little bit and like.
I don't like the idea of having to trace a circle with my stick to open a door or whatever that one part of that video was.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like pinpoint accuracy. It's just kind of like just rotate. But again, no date, and then we see this cool new suit. Now she's got 2 suits for the next Smash game that I really hope we see. I hope we see this red one, and I hope we see her white and turquoise one. And if we didn't get Prime Remastered 2 and 3, which I really hoped we did, I was still kind of hoping we would see Samus 2. The
remake for DS.
Yeah.
They're gonna save all that until they announce the clip-on screen on Switch 2.
Yeah. Which even that, I still kind of think they're gonna end up just doing a phone, like just
sit
tap
at
your phone.
Desk and your phone sits on. You have to put it on your desk in front of you.
No, like they'll sell almost like the backbone kind of situation,
okay.
Something that kind of grips a phone. So, Diamond in chat's like, I see new Rhythm Heaven. Yes, people are so stoked for Rhythm Heaven. I don't have any nostalgia for it, but it's a game I hear people talk about all the time. I want to backtrack a little bit here. Cryptic says, I do like all the beat 'em ups. I'm burnt out on them, but with Turtles, Power Rangers, and now Marvel getting them, it's cool to see an arcade resurgence. Maybe an X-Men beat 'em up is soon to follow. That'd be fantastic.
Children of the Atom, bring it. I want the Genesis games on Switch.
Oh, so good. So X-Men 2 is like top tier. Like, so I would play through that game.
Jumping between, teleporting around.
Yes, so good. Cryptic saying a lot of lighting effects is primed for Switch 2 hardware, breaking down all the ray tracing DLSS stuff. There you go. Yep. Let's see. Tom says, her controlling the beam reminded me of the beetle item from Skyward Sword. Yeah, it also reminded me of like Perfect Dark. There was I can't remember what it was called, like the one of the rocket launchers. You did that exact same thing. You controlled you controlled the rocket. So Becca said I was really hoping for an NSO update. I think a lot of us were. I think there was.
We'll see probably something with an NSO update next week. I would think.
I'm leaning towards them, like if they do the DS and GameCube, that like there might be a third pricing tier or something.
Yeah.
Essentially, or maybe they just bump the price of the expansion pack. I don't know. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. I know we say this at a lot of directs, but I really do feel like there was a lot for everybody. Like with Prime 4 being shown, like I'm over the moon. I just wish they'd given us an exact date.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how tied the date in is to Switch 2, and maybe even next week we get something. Because do you think it could be? We've talked about this for a while. Like Xbox marketing was like better on Series X or whatever, like better on Switch 2, and it's a day one launch. And that's why we're not getting Prime 4.
The date for it.
Yeah,
because it's the same date as Switch 2.
It's the same date as Switch 2.
It could be, yeah. But there's so many games that didn't get dates. Like,
yeah.
But then they announced this app at the end of it where they're like, you're going to be able to keep up to date with everything. Like, so I don't know. Is
that them getting away from Twitter? Is that their response to get out of the Twitter space?
I don't think so. It's just, if you think about it, like not everybody's on Twitter, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have found people that I even thought were somewhat into the gaming space, or, you know, somewhat like would be somewhat privy to like gaming news, and they're oblivious. They're like they like, you know, I'll get questions that I'm like, wait, you didn't see this on like Instagram or Facebook or Twitter? Like, and they're like, nah, I don't even follow, you know, like, so, I mean, if you think about it, what, like their YouTube channel is sitting at like under 10 million, right? But you have 160 million Switches out there. They just want to get in front of more. And I don't think anybody clicks the news tab on their Switch. I never have, but maybe I don't click it because I already know that stuff.
I also don't click it because I see stuff in triplicate because I have a US, Japanese, and a EU account on my Switch. So it populates a lot of stuff in there that's usually in triplicate. Some of it's in a language I can't read. And then it's old. It's old at some point is usually as well. Like we've already seen it.
Right. Yeah. And so I think it's just another way for them to, like, I mean, do you know the amount of people that probably have no clue Nintendo Music exists?
Of the subscriber, what do we know what the subscriber count is on NSO?
I want to say like 30 to 40 million. I don't know if they've given that number in quite some time.
So I would say probably 25 to 35 million people don't know about it.
Yeah. So it's really going to be like what I don't think we're somewhat removed from, like, you know, there are people that even if they're on social media, they don't follow video game stuff at all, but they still play their Switch. So they rely on retail to go and see like what's new, what's the latest. And that's, I mean, I think Nintendo's just kind of hedging their bets here.
That's a dying thing though, too.
It is. And so I think but again, how do they get this information? Like they got to get people to download that app, you know, like they almost need to make it like turn your Switch on and don't let people go to the menu until they have seen and can scan the QR code so that they can stay up to date with everything that's happening.
Well,
so
I mean, that's why Fortnite bombards you with a video if something is new when it opens up, or same thing with like Call of Duty the other day. I was in there and it was talking about the championships or whatever that were happening. Like in your game, they need to like just bombard you and hit you right when you walk into the game. And
then we'll see Snickers ads, you know, then they'll,
but at Switch, it's like, yeah, it's the stuff is hidden on that news tab or not even really even in the NSO app or whatever on the Switch, there isn't a ton of stuff. Like they don't even advertise. Like they updated the NFTs or whatever for Xenoblade the other day, and I logged in and got some more. But like, it's not advertised anywhere unless you go click and you're going looking for it.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see a tweet about it, but it's usually like these are coming out in 4 waves, and then you don't see wave 2, wave 3, and wave 4 get talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptic says, I do think Tomodachi Life being around the corner, that sadly AC is a few years away. I don't. There may be some crossover in the audience. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm a perfect example of somebody who, I mean, I'll pick up this new Tomodachi Life just because it's so goofy. Like it'll be fun content, but I didn't play the other one, and I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan, so I think they can. I think they can cross pollinate, because Animal Crossing at this point is going to be a platform. I would assume, like any of their top 10 top 10 in sales, I assume those are going to be like more of a platform than just your one and done kind of games. Cryptic also goes on to say, with digital game card, can you see this being them kind of transitioning to an all digital console SKU? Absolutely. We already see limited physical games at stores. Target is really the only retail store. Yeah, I mean, you've got GameStop, and I think Best Buy will still have Switch games.
I went last week and picked up last week and picked up Chronicles X in person. I hadn't pre-ordered it or anything. I was really honestly holding out hope that Nintendo was going to do a collector's edition, but they didn't. So I was able just to go to Best Buy and pick it up off the shelf.
I do think that this digital game card thing is a pretty clear indicator that there's an all digital Switch 2 on its way. I think you know, it makes sense for them if they can sell a console at a lower price that's all digital, similar to what Xbox did with the Series S and the Series X. And the only thing that they could have really done better is allowed your physical game card to become a digital game card, and then be able to transfer that between your family member.
They would have to severely limit. It would have to be something where you registered the Nintendo points, but they're getting rid of those.
Right.
They would have to do it a system like that, because to combat, if you and I lived in the same city, you buy something, I buy something, and we both go to each other's houses and scan it in. It has to be whoever registers that game to their Switch could then get it, or they find a way to do it one off with whatever serial number is associated with it. That would be nice, but
people love DRMs, right? Wasn't that what Xbox ran into when they're like, it's going to check in every 24 hours, and people were like, we're buying PlayStations. So but yeah, I think it's, and the main reason I think that we're going to see an all digital Switch 2 is that was talked about years ago, that was potentially like that there was going to be multiple SKUs and one of them would be all digital. So it makes sense to me that would be the way they go.
Which digital SKUs are probably also part of the reason why E3 died out. Because at its core, it was a trade show to sell the brick and mortars on upcoming game releases and take orders for the next year. And brick and mortars have been pretty much cut out.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for sure. We talked about it a little bit last night. Like I hope we don't get to the point to where like special editions don't have the game card. You know, like with Xbox and PlayStation, where it's
no game card here.
It
was just on.
No, I'm talking though. Like, you know, I think Doom: The Dark Ages is coming with a code. It comes with a steel book and a code. You know, like So,
well, I mean, you want the physical disc or the cart?
If I'm buying a special edition like that, yeah, like I mean,
because
I'm getting
I
to
bought
I'm getting to the point that like I do prefer digital, right?
yeah.
Like it's far more convenient, but as far as the shelves behind me, like
True. So the correct way to do that, if you want the nice special steelbook or whatever, because I think it's what they did for both Last of Us Part 2 and God of War Ragnarok. I have the collectors, I have Mjolnir and I have the Ellie statue or whatever. They came with a steelbook, so you can put it on your shelf, but it doesn't have a disc or anything with it. It's just you get a code, which is more convenient for in and out with the PlayStation and stuff anyway. Um, so you kind of get the little bit of something, but you don't have to have the inconvenience of having to put it in your system. You have something for your shelf, but I don't know.
yeah, Brian's making some good points. He's like consoles need to go all digital. People will complain, but then what? Not buy the console? Yeah, no, they'll still do it. And he says at this point, the cart or the disc are just keys. I mean, it's a little different with Nintendo because you don't have to download the cart to your system.
Honestly, Nintendo might doing this might force Xbox and PlayStation's hand a little bit in having to come up with creative ways to share a digital game with somebody.
Potentially.
But Nintendo's kind of being unique about it with you having to have to be in the same local network for initially, which nobody's going to lug their Xbox and PlayStation over to somebody's house to do that. But if they could create a family group or something to share it with, like that would be nice. But
well,
I mean, this is as close as we're getting back to like what you and I did last year, playing just Mario Kart on the train or whatever coming home. It with the DS Game Share stuff or whatever, where you just log in, and I didn't own the game, and we played Mario Kart together.
It's close to digital download, but not quite there because you can't, like, you see how it moves? You can't.
Yeah, you don't have it once you share it with somebody.
Yeah, you still can't do multiplayer games. And
which
what
you
I find
can right now
interesting
with the primary Switch stuff. Like,
yes,
my kids can have a Splatoon 3 open, and I can open it here as well on my other Switch, and we can play together if we want to. So I'm wondering if that goes away.
Pay close attention to what they show in these videos here too. They're showing 3 kids in the family group, and all 3 of those kids are playing on what?
Lights.
Switch lights, right? So they, like, look at that. There's 3 Switch lights. I honestly wonder what percentage of lights are out there in the overall, because if it's high, we could almost guarantee that maybe they don't launch with a digital version, but maybe the Switch 2 Lite, no game cart
for sure.
But at the same time, I feel like that might, not having a game cart and being all digital, like that could be frustrating to some parents as well, because like if you hand, your kids are going to be limited to what you have digitally at that point. And how is this going to work with do we see any third-party games in this, or is everything that we're seeing like first-party titles?
I think it was, let's see, first party, all first party.
Yeah. So I do wonder, how that's gonna look. So,
is that a precursor for us to carry your game on our? I feel like it's got to be an app that's because hold on, pause, go back to that screen.
Which one?
That one right there. It's in a system update. It was a bottom edition on the OS that said virtual game cards. So it's an added thing that they are adding to the OS. So
I see what you're saying on the
home screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what it's going to look like on your Switch when you've lent it out for 2 weeks. Is it just going to be like a physical cart when you don't have it in your Switch, and it's just going to say missing game cart?
That's kind of what I'm assuming. And can you steal it back? Can you be like,
Yeah.
you're done? So, Brian says, better when I was a kid. I let Timmy borrow my copy of 1942 and didn't get it back for like 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, then he says, or you could share your Switch with your kid and they take it to school and trade the game for 14 days. Now you get home from work and can't play Metroid for 2 weeks.
Hopefully there is a recall on there that you can just recall it back if you need to.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that is the case. So did you say during one of these right here? Oh,
whatever it has.
I think it's back a little further.
The tiles, they highlight over it.
Trying to get there. It was like just a white OLED.
It was just
showed the menu.
Yep. Keep going back.
Oh, I think we're close.
It was probably
right here.
Yeah, so right next to the controller thing, you see the game cart icon?
Mm-hmm.
They're adding it to the OS.
Yeah. Interesting.
Is there anything? There's nothing.
So maybe the primary and home thing will still work, hopefully. So we'll just have to wait and see here. But
yep.
and it does say an internet connection is required when loading or ejecting. I don't know. If you're ejecting a game, your home and primary, that kind of it's probably gone. That whole thing's probably gone because
then what's the incentive for Johnny, who has 12 switches or whatever, to utilize his switches?
Well, I think it would probably work like this. If you don't have a game loaned out to your kid, all of your current switches
profiles that you
would
have
still work. Okay. And but if you loan it out, it's not going to work on any of them. Maybe that's the case. Like that's kind of how I'm assuming it would.
So yeah. So then I just have to make the kid switch my primary switch still. I'm a secondary user, and then on my own Switch or whatever, or Switch 2, and then if they end up having multiple switches, which they will, of just Switch 1, because I won't need mine, then they can trade it amongst themselves. But I wonder if is that that would probably mess up me if I was somewhere else. Correct. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure that it's this. It feels more like they are saying, here, demo this game. And then if your kid likes it, go buy it for him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, Tom says you guys are making my morning run way more enjoyable. Let's go. Let's go. So yeah, I don't know that it's like we'll have to just once we can finally test it, which they said it's going to be
in the April update, I think.
Yeah. So
and end of April, I think he said.
Yeah, or was it right around the like right after the direct next week?
No, I think they said
a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can scrub to the end here. Here we go. Let it kind of skip ahead a bit.
What was the family 8? There was something at the bottom there, but
the family group, like if you have like your online family group,
up to 8. Okay.
Yeah, but again,
that's the maximum you can have in a family group anyway right now.
Yeah, Yeah. And so, but yeah, it's looking like you do have to be in the same, like literally in the same household. Which again, that would complete, like if you and I were sharing games through the home primary between our two accounts, that is now gone. Like,
yeah, I wonder somebody might come up with creative ways to spoof it with VPNs, maybe. Because it does say you have to be on like the same local network. So if you could spoof it with a VPN, that would be interesting.
yeah.
But
Yeah, but it still takes the fun out of being able to do. We couldn't play the same game
yeah,
at the same time. So and Nate does say you only need to connect once. So it looks like after you've been in the room with the person, you may be able to still share via online.
Yeah.
So, but you know, and I could see like where instances where this will be really good. My daughter hasn't played Wonder yet. And so I was like, I guess I could get her another copy of it. But now, if I'm not going to play it, she could beat that in 2 weeks, no problem. That's, you know, that's a great case scenario for, you know, for this. So, yeah. So Nate says kind of like NSO in a way. Yeah. But
yeah. And there's like, I bought like William wanted to play the DLC for Scarlet, or I don't know what he has Violet. So I bought the DLC under my account because he just plays on a Switch that's my primary Switch, so it's there, but it's not tied to his account because I didn't want it to. Because like if the girls wanted to play it, like I didn't want it to be something they wouldn't be able to play on their profile on that Switch. So it's like they need to come up with something that would be good for like DLC purchase. Like it would be nice because who knows what DLC, like you can't share DLC. Maybe I don't know if you can.
Oh, you're probably correct. Yeah. And Nate says you get 2 weeks before the license check again on NSO. So that's what he meant by it's kind of like NSO. Like if you fire up NSO, you have to log in. Well, don't you have to be online for NSO no matter what?
No.
Maybe you do if you're not the primary. Maybe that's the only reason I haven't been able to do it, because I was like on a plane not using my primary Switch. Maybe that's why I couldn't do it. So
yeah.
So yeah, so you got 2 weeks there. But let's see. Cryptic says, say you lend a game you own to another Switch. Can you save go as well? Like when I play Pokemon and at work, can I send it to my niece to power level for me for $10?
It doesn't sound like it because it said on there that Switch, that saves will remain with like,
yes,
when the game goes back, you retain your save. So it doesn't sound like you can share a save.
Yeah. But I think wasn't there, like, I think there's quite a bit of speculation about what's going to be able to happen with like Switch 2 and being able to kind of do like what, you know, how you can take somebody's console over on the PS5 and like
game share or game help or something like that is what it's called.
Yeah. So you might still be able to, all hope is not lost. Yeah, Nate said, yeah, you could just put your Switch account on her Switch as well. If you trust her, she might be costing you more than $10 if she goes on a little shopping spree on the eShop, you know. So, but no, I think overall the Direct was like literally we weren't expecting this, right? So seeing any of it was great. I think there was a lot of hope for Metroid being able to play now, like Metroid Prime 2, you know, and 3. And the strange thing is those games have been talked about for so long. Also, where was Kirby Planet Robobot that was like supposedly, you know, happening?
They aren't ready to kill the Switch yet.
I guess.
obviously, because what Tamagotchi Life is coming in 2026. So I mean, this also proves that they are willing to support an 8-year-old system, even while they have a new system out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which
They aren't ready to turn their back on 140 million install.
No, almost 160 million. And
Yep.
so and I said that last night. I'm like, they're going to probably support this thing for the next 2 years. Like if we're already seeing 2026, tack one more year on there, and there's their 10 years that they said they wanted to do. So
Best Buy Canada took down their blog post about Switch 2 pre-orders going up on April 2nd.
Uh-oh. Not not that was Walmart Canada?
Best Buy Canada.
Oh, Best Buy. Okay. I was going to say not Walmart Canada getting in trouble again. So poor Nate, he's like hated the final game as the final game. Yeah, I get you. I get you. I think had it even been Kirby, if had it been Planet Robobot or something like something that has a little broader audience, but at the same time, I have a feeling there's going to be some people that end up picking up Tamagotchi Life after they see how quirky and goofy it is, and it's like, in a way, it's kind of like one of those idle games. Like you kind of just set it and forget it. So, but, yeah, seeing this Marvel game on screen right now, like, looks so good. I love the pixel art with the with Marvel beat 'em up. Like,
is that a new game or is that a old game that they're?
No, I think it's brand new. I
Okay.
think it's brand new. I assume it's going to be everywhere. So, but yeah, I know there's a huge portion of the internet that is freaking out over Tamagotchi Life. And like I said, I'm gonna text my daughters after we're off here and let them know that it's coming out. Hopefully there's a trailer for just this game. And
oh yeah, they'll break all those out.
Yeah, and like hopefully it's up, and so I can send it over to them because they're gonna absolutely lose it. What I might do is FaceTime them, screen share, and then record because their reactions are gonna be crazy. So, but well, any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up on this direct and maybe what we think we'll see next week?
Yeah, I mean the game card thing, we obviously spent a good amount talking about that. I think that is innovation from Nintendo, coming up with a creative solution for a digital problem that we've had now for a little while. So I'm interested to see how that's going to get expanded upon. I feel like we either might hear more about it next week, or even maybe we get something at the end of April, like right before it's launched and live, to kind of go into more detail about it. But the games were kind of, I'm excited for the Square Enix stuff, HD2D, for more Dragon Quest stuff. But other than that, and Prime, but other than that, it was kind of little lackluster. The Marvel stuff seems kind of cool, but again, for something that we weren't expecting, it was pretty good.
Yeah, Tamagotchi is first party. Yes, Nate was asking. And what was the other? Like, was it Gradius? That collection.
Yeah, the Gradius collection
cool.
looks. Yeah, and that's who owns Gradius? Is that?
It used to be Konami back in the day, but
is that? I'm wondering, or who's also making that? Is that maybe the same group that's done like the Castlevania collections and the?
It has the same vibe, yes, and Contra.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that the Disney Cafe game being the game that was out now was like mm-hmm. Would have loved to see something different. Oh, the game from THQ Nordic, it is given some serious DuckTale vibes. Like, it might be pretty cool where you're powering up your cane.
Mm-hmm.
That might end up being pretty fun. The Eternal Life of Goldman. So,
and it looks a little like Cuphead, a little bit, with like kind of more hand-drawn style.
Yeah, graphically it
cartoony.
looks gorgeous. So it could end up, but this whole thing right here, this whole sequence where he's pouncing like a pogo stick on his cane,
Mhm.
that is so Scrooge McDuck. Like so Scrooge McDuck. Like I
Yeah,
love that.
that one looks pretty cool.
I think here's Gradius, the collection, and I think the is it Patapon or whatever? Like I think that's another series that Gradius Origins. So let me see if I go back far
we're
enough.
getting
if it shows it.
a new what's the vertical scroller of Gradius? What was that called?
Salamander.
Salamander. We're getting a new Salamander or whatever.
And the way that they're making Salamander is it's vertical and horizontal. So which I thought was pretty cool because I from my assumption, Salamander was always the like more like the shmup or whatever, like more of the vertical where your Gradius is kind of your left to right kind of stuff. So yeah, I was hoping it would show at the beginning. Sometimes it shows who the dev is and everything when it like kind of scrolls in, but with it because the same, even the Rift of the Necrodancer or whatever, like or Necromancer or whatever, that it like the fact that they got Celeste and some other indie games, like the only thing with that is I want to see it come with a controller of some kind, like some kind of a guitar controller.
I saw
I
saw something the other day when I was scrolling TikTok. It was like a Fortnite festival controller that had 5 buttons on the top or whatever for doing that same kind of stuff. So
that's cool.
I mean that kind of stuff, and the somebody made a new controller as well. I think honestly, we didn't even talk about it. I feel like they showed more about ZA and we learned more about ZA than we learned about on Pokemon Day, which makes 0 sense why they didn't share more less than a month ago. Like they haven't developed more in a month to share. Like why did they not share as much, like the battling stuff at night? Like they didn't talk about that at all in the Pokemon Day Presents.
Honestly, I have to go back and check like views, but I would assume the Direct is probably going to get millions of more views than maybe the Pokemon stuff. And so it's just a good opportunity for them to make sure they held something back and then shared it, something new, as well as getting it in front of, there's probably plenty of people that are seeing this game for the first time through this Direct, I would assume. So,
yeah. But it looks more involved than Arceus did. So I'm a little more excited for it.
Looks like an evolved Arceus, right? Like I'm really, as soon as this scene happened where they threw the Pokeball and caught the Pokemon, I was like, oh, I want to play Pokemon right now. Cryptic's asking, do you guys like Rhythm Heaven games? I personally have never played one, but again, and he says they are well beloved, but I've never tried it. I'm in the same boat. I know that a lot of people love those games, but
yeah, same here.
And he said at least the chorus kids are always wanted in Smash. That'd be such a crazy character to play as. Having to try to play in Rhythm, it'd be wild. So, well, all right. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We're just about at that 2-hour mark. This has been super fun. So, happy Nintendo Direct Day. Hope you guys have a good one. And of course, we're a week out, but we will be we'll be here live watching the Switch 2 Direct, which is going to be, I think it's going to be absolutely hype.
And fighting to get pre-orders.
And then then fighting to get pre-orders. I know you can go to GameStop and sign up in store. They'll like, and maybe you can do it on their website too, but you'll get emails and texts the moment pre-orders go up. So if you don't want to wait on like Wario 64, I know there's a number of accounts that are going to try to help people. Like if I see pre-orders, I'll tweet them out and stuff as well. But but I know GameStop has a text and email thing happening right now if you want to be first. And I don't, honestly, it seems like Nintendo's going to do a good enough job to keep scalpers at bay this time around that, we might find out next week that, oh, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online account, and then that's going to sell them more Nintendo Switch Online accounts because people
honestly, when they announced this news channel thing, I was like, oh, they're going to do pre-orders through this app. Like they still might.
They still could. Yeah, they still could. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And we will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.